A very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashingsani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Sri Lanka heralds first online tea auction amidst coronavirus crisis. DIG Ajit Rohana warns of taking strict legal actions against those who share or forward fake news related to coronavirus on social media. News in detail. The President's Media Division said that the curfew in 19 districts except in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Putlam, Kandy and Jaffna will be lifted on this Thursday at 6 a.m. and reimposed at 4 p.m. on the same day. Meanwhile, Deputy Inspector General Ajit Rohana, addressing the daily COVID-19 press briefing at the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19, warned the public that strict legal action will be taken for those who not abide by social distancing when the curfew is lifted. Accordingly, the Health Ministry added that 4 more COVID-19 cases were identified for the day as of today 6 p.m. Thus, the total coronavirus cases in the country has increased to 178 by this evening. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, addressing the media today, said that all the individuals who were quarantined at quarantine centres must be self-quarantined for another 14 days and that process will be supervised by the health officials. He also added that by today, 3,386 individuals were quarantined by Triforces and only 1,287 persons are being quarantined at present. DIG Ajit Rohana, addressing the media at the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19, said that the police were reported a number of incidents where the curfew passes were misused. Therefore, he requested all the citizens to be responsible to fight the spread of COVID-19. DIG Ajit Rohana also said that initially they took legal actions against only the creators of the fake news on social media. But hereafter, the police will look for the individuals who share or forward such fake news on social media. The DIG also requested the general public to maintain the 1 meter distance when they are out for purchasing the essentials when the curfew is lifted. Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe said that the government has taken measures to increase the number of laboratory tests on coronavirus. He assured that facilities are being developed at present and by next week, the number of PCR tests will be increased 150%. He also added that they have also paid attention to validate the rapid test mechanism, but it is taking time for the quality tools to be received from the trustworthy sources. Dr. Jasinghe also requested the general public to maintain social distancing, considering it as a national requirement. He also added that most of the patients are reluctant to reveal their recent behaviors due to sensitive reasons and requested them to open with their doctors, otherwise the spread of this virus cannot be controlled. Meanwhile, a special conference was also held at the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 to educate the officials on how to prevent the spread of COVID-19 with the assistance of Ayurvedic treatments. Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, and officials and the doctors from the Ayurvedic department addressed the gathering. The Colombo Tea Traders Association heralds the successful conduction of the first ever tea auction via a digital platform over the weekend despite the disruptions in COVID-19. Addressing the media briefing held at the Department of Government Information today, Minister of Plantation Industries Dr. Ramesh Patirana and Secretary to Ministry of Plantation Industries and Export Agriculture Ravindra Hevavitharana added that the first ever online tea auction in Sri Lanka added an impetus to the severely affected tea industry from coronavirus. The Colombo Tea Traders Association successfully concluded the weekly tea auction on 18th and 19th March under challenging circumstances and rigorous precautionary measures. But it was realized that continuing to assemble such a large number of buyers at a single location would be too great a risk. Hence, it was decided to conduct the auction via a digital platform starting from 4th April. This is a historic event as it is the first time in 126 years that the tea auction deviated from its conventional outcry system, requiring the physical presence of the buyers to move into the electronic age, with each buyer engaging in the imperative assignment of purchasing tea for processing and export from a safe location without having to travel to central point and intermingling in a crowd environment to do so. Moving on, Secretary to Ministry of Plantation Industries and Export Agriculture Ravindra Hevavitharana added that the ministry has decided to carry out the auction in coconut sector via semi-automated system on this Thursday. He also announced that anyone who has issues related to the plantation industries and export agriculture can contact 07144155160 mobile number or 071692692 WhatsApp and Viber number, or communicate via meliandea@gmail.com address. Speaking further, Minister of Plantation Industries Dr. Ramesh Patirana stresses that drinking hot black tea can be used as a preventive measure against the coronavirus or COVID-19.
It's widely known that drinking hot black tea 3 to 4 times a day can have some sort of preventive effects in relation to most of the respiratory conditions, including influenza, bronchitis, asthma, and pneumonia. It's widely known the substances included in black tea, including theophylline and also polyphenols and catechins, have effects in relation to bronchial dilatation. Bronchial dilatation will facilitate easy breathing. Therefore, the patients, those who have asthma, bronchitis, influenza and pneumonia, have been benefited. So over a period of time, this is a well-established fact. And also, a recently concluded study in Taiwan has very clearly shown this black tea contains properties that can potentially inhibit SARS-CoV-2 virus, which has biostructurally similar to COVID-19 virus. So even though it's not directly proven medically that this can prevent and cure COVID-19, it is very well established. There's so much of circumstantial evidence to say that drinking hot black tea can support prevention of COVID-19, and also it can support patients, those who are having difficulties in breathing. Especially inhalation of black tea can help to kill the virus, because it's very well known the virus cannot survive when the temperature exceeds 30 to 35 degrees centigrade.
The Director General of Government Information, Lanka, however, assures that the government administrative mechanism will continue functioning even though the country is under curfew and social distancing measures. He made these assurances addressing a media briefing held at the Department of Government Information today. The Director General of Government Information, Lanka, however, highlighted that the Tri-Forces, the police, health officers and all other officers affiliated to the essential services are committed to meet the public needs. He further added that the program to distribute the allowances for senior citizens and individuals over the age of 100, allowance for persons with special needs and allowance for patients suffering kidney diseases was initiated today, and that these allowances were sent to the residencies of the recipients by the Grama-Niladhari officers. The relevant authorities also distributed pension payments to those recipients who were unable to obtain their pensions on last Thursday and last Friday. On the other hand, Kalueva added that the farmers' pensions and fisheries pensions were coordinated by the Department of Agrarian Development and Agriculture Research Production Assistance. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. A Sri Lankan who was on duty in the cruise ship MSC Magnifica was assisted by Sri Lanka Navy today to arrive in Sri Lanka when the ship was berthed at the Colombo harbour for replenishment. Meanwhile, a 75-year-old German female passenger suffering from a heart attack on board the MSC Magnifica was also safely brought ashore by the Navy. The vessel, which set sail on the 5th of January with about 2,700 crew and passengers aboard, had to cancel its tour while in Australia due to the worldwide coronavirus pandemic. Since the ship was not accepted by any port of a country, the ship has subsequently decided to set sail to Italy, where the parent company is located. During the course of a journey to Italy, the ship was scheduled to arrive at the port of Colombo for replenishment. Accordingly, the Sri Lankan, identified as Anura Bandara Herath, requested the president and the Sri Lankan government to facilitate him to arrive in Sri Lanka. As a result of the timely intervention of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, a team of Navy's chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear unit was dispatched to the passenger ship, which was about 4.4 nautical miles off the port of Colombo, and the only Sri Lankan on board was safely retrieved and transferred ashore this morning. Subsequently, the Sri Lankan was directed to the Busa Naval Quarantine Centre for 21 days of quarantine following all safety guidelines. Meanwhile, a 75-year-old German female passenger suffering from a heart attack on board the MSC Magnifica was also safely brought ashore by the Navy. Subsequently, the event was informed to the Presidential Task Force on Prevention of COVID-19, and upon its directives, the ill German woman was also disinfected on the harbour premises in accordance with proper sterilisation procedures, and she was rushed to the National Hospital Colombo for treatment. Export Development Board, considering the downtrodden global economy and trade due to the COVID-19 pandemic, cuts its 2020 exports forecast by 42%, amounting to $10.75 billion. The Export Development Board in January this year announced that it aims an ambitious yet an attainable target of $18.5 billion this year, which is a 15% increase compared to last year. However, speaking to a local newspaper, EDB Chairman Prabhash Subasinghe now emphasizes that Sri Lanka is unlikely to achieve the said ambitious target, considering the repercussions of the novel coronavirus on Sri Lanka's economy and on global economy at large. Thus, the EDB cuts its 2020 exports forecast by a 42%, which is $10.75 billion. EDB reports that this downward revision means a drop in our export earnings of about $7.75 billion compared to 2020 original forecast, and also $5.39 billion from the actual exports of last year. As per the revised target, EDB forecasts $7.53 billion in merchandise exports and $3.21 billion from service exports in 2020. EDB head highlights that tea, rubber, coconut, spices, food and beverage, seafood and fruits would do well during this year, even though major export sectors such as apparel, diamonds, gems and jewelry, electronic and electrical component sectors would perform marginally or poorly. Meanwhile, on a positive note, the EDB chief also pointed out that the situation had opened up new opportunities in the sectors of apparel, especially to manufacture face masks, medical wear, personal protection gear, ventilators and other timely pharmaceutical exports. United Nations warns that the domestic violence over the past few days amidst lockdown and social distancing mechanisms has surged since the number of calling the support systems has doubled worldwide. At this backdrop, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres requests the countries to make the redress of violence against women a key part of their national response plans for COVID-19.
For many women and girls, the threat looms largest where they should be safest, in their own homes. And so I make a new appeal today for peace at home and in homes around the world. We know lockdowns and quarantines are essential to suppressing COVID-19, but they can trap women with abusive partners. Over the past weeks, as economic and social pressures and fear have grown, we have seen a horrifying global surge in domestic violence. In some countries, the number of women calling support services has doubled. Meanwhile, healthcare providers and police are overwhelmed and understaffed. Local support groups are paralyzed or short of funds. Some domestic violence shelters are closed, others are full. I urge all governments to make the prevention and redress of violence against women a key part of their national response plans for COVID-19. That means increasing investment in online services and civil society organizations, making sure judicial systems continue to prosecute abusers, setting up emergency warning systems in pharmacies and groceries, declaring shelters as essential services, and creating safe ways for women to seek support without alerting their abusers. Women's rights and freedoms are essential to strong, resilient societies.
And that's all the news for today. Stay home, stay safe. Take care. Good night.